just be seeing a lot of me today, I'm afraid. Thanks, Minister. I think it's great to get off to a positive start, and I think you've set a very nice atmosphere for us to get on to the job in hand. And I suppose matching with that, we all need a bit of motivation and encouragement. So we're delighted that our keynote speaker for today's conference is Joanne O'Riordan. Joanne became a prominent campaigner for disability rights when she openly challenged the Irish government on a cut that they were going to make on disability payments. The intended cut was reversed, and Joanne discovered her passion for activism. She works as a sports journalist, working regularly with the Irish Times and other publications on a range of issues, including women in sport, disability in sport, and racism and sport. Joanne has been a keynote speaker throughout the world, nationally and internationally, and we're absolutely delighted to have her here as our keynote speaker this morning. Joanne.
I was born on the 24th of April, 1996, and I grew up in a family of 5 with 3 older brothers and 1 older sister who simply adored me. And by adored, I mean my eldest brother Dennis threw me to a chandelier, knocking out my 2 front teeth. We used to practice WWE moves on each other all the time, from tombstone pile drivers to Batista bombs, you name it. Myself, or my brother did it to me anyway, and what about me doing it to him? And as my brother always told me, life beats you down, Joanne, and you bounce back completely fine from when I beat you down, so I think you're going to be perfectly fine. I was born with a very rare condition known as total amelia, meaning I was born without all of my limbs. So I'm only one of 7 people in the world. And I suppose in a way, it makes me a little bit unique. There's no medical reason as to why I was born this way, but I am delighted to say I have never allowed my disability to hold me back. And I'm continually striving to create a world that is inclusive, not just for able-bodied people, but for people with disabilities also. Being born with no limbs is often perceived by others to be a severely debilitating condition. And I can safely say that this was certainly the case by some of the doctors who first saw me. But my parents, my family and I, we decided to ignore whatever the doctors had to say and decided to take life into our own hands. To be honest, I have a confession to make. I do hate the word disability. I hate when people use this word to describe me, and I hate the way people look and think of me as being weak or different. I, just like you and others out there, have the ability to achieve anything I want in my life. I don't look at my life and see the word disability. I only see ability. I've been extremely lucky in the way that I've been allowed to express my thoughts, ideas, concerns, and suggestions to anyone that I've met. Just because I have no limbs does not mean I have no voice. By April 2012, and on my 16th birthday, I was invited to the United Nations in New York, where I delivered a landmark speech to the world's leading women in technology on how technology has transformed my life, and was one of the first people in the United Nations to get a standing ovation. Unfortunately, I've been asked back a couple of times, including tomorrow, and I told them that I couldn't do today because I was with the farmers of Ireland, and they were like, okay, your life took a turn. That same year, in 2012, I was the recipient of the Young Person of the Year Award for my contribution in highlighting the needs of people with disabilities. I have never shied away from the challenges I face, and each and every day, I always try to do something that will test my ability even further. Life for me has no limits. I always say the only obstacle in life is ourselves. In order to achieve the impossible, we must believe in the possible. It is not people with disabilities that are the problem. It is society's attitude that is the obstacle. And as they say, there's no disability in life, only a bad attitude. In 2014, my brother made a documentary about my life called No Limbs, No Limits. He's actually now in the Department of Housing. So, I mean, if you think my life took a turn from going to the UN to farming, his life definitely took a turn. The documentary went on a nationwide cinema release throughout Ireland, was broadcast on RT1 to over 433,000 viewers, and has been seen by over 50 million people worldwide, in over 16 countries. I suppose on top of that, on the 24th of April in 2014, and on my 18th birthday, I was invited to meet with President Michael D. Higgins at his official residence in Áras an Uachtaráin as a formal acknowledgement for my ongoing work in the field of disabilities. As great and all as it was meeting Michael D, though, 4 days before meeting him, I was honoured to be in the same room as my idol. I'm a huge Barcelona fan, much to my downfall, I would say. But for my 18th birthday, my mother arranged for me to meet Lionel Messi on Easter Sunday. And awards and everything are great, but to literally see Jesus Christ rise in the form of Lionel Messi on Easter Sunday and bang in 3 goals against Athletic Bilbao. I'm not that religious, but I was there. I saw Jesus Christ rise in the Camp Nou. Total believer, absolutely. In that instance, I'm seizing every moment, and my plans are always developing. I was honoured with a very prestigious JCI Top Outstanding Young Person of the World Award, or Miss Universe, as I like to call it. The award has been given to the likes of John F. Kennedy, Henry Kissinger, Jackie Chan, and even Elvis Presley. So your standard WhatsApp group chat there. And I even went to Japan to accept the amazing award and put forward the ideology of it is not the disability, it is the ability on a global scale. I suppose as referenced earlier, I am just a normal 26-year-old who loves hanging out with my friends, going into cardiac arrest, watching Barcelona and Cork GAA games. Who knew 30 men could let you down in one go? And I suppose just being an all-around messer. Sport is obviously a humongous part of my life. I am a sports writer with the Irish Times, and I worked on RTE's bumper coverage of the Paralympics last year, which was a huge honour. And for everyone asking me, no, I was not in Tokyo because of COVID. I was stuck in Dublin in a studio, but I'm glad we gave the perception that we were in Tokyo with my tiredness at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. I suppose aside from my sporting ambitions, I graduated with a degree in criminology for UCC. So if anyone has any questions later about burying a body in a farm, I'm not going to say I'm your gal, but I know people. I suppose a question that I face all the time is, do I ever get upset or do I ever get angry or down in the dumps because I was born the way that I was? And obviously sometimes I do, but I'm very lucky that I have a great family, amazing friends, and more importantly, a strong sense of self. I always remember Carlos Puyol, the former Barcelona captain, saying, power is inside the mind and only the strong can endure. So I have 2 kind of sporting / life metaphors to share with you today. I promise it's not any hurling in the ditch or top tier hurling, or we're playing championship hurling now, boys. Health analogies. So the first is called rowing the boat. So rowing the boat has nothing to do with football or sports, really. Rowing the boat is just a mindset. So rowing the boat means doing things the right way and accepting the results that come. It's about being dedicated to the process of winning every single day by being the very best version of you that you can be. It's about not ignoring the past, but instead always trying to learn from it in order to get better. And more than anything, it's about creating a community that has a positive aura with each individual contributing. Together, through love and trust, you all push forward together. So the process of rowing the boat is broken down into 3 very simple parts. First, you've got the oar. That's the energy you bring to your life, what propels you forward. Obviously, an oar is the only thing that can move a boat, but positive energy breeds love, and love breeds success. Secondly, there is the boat itself, which is made up of sacrifice. It's the thing you're willing to give up in order to achieve something you've never had before. So the more that each individual sacrifices, the more of themselves they're willing to give to others, the bigger the boat actually gets. And when you have a big boat full of people willing to sacrifice for each other, you can brave any single storm that comes your way. And finally, there's the compass, which symbolizes the positive direction that you choose to follow. Ultimately, your compass is determined by who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with the wrong people, you're probably going to do the wrong things. But if you surround yourself with elite people, you're probably going to do elite things. It's as simple as that. My other lesson is about golf balls. I'm a huge golfer nerd. Was absolutely soul destroyed when I woke up this morning that Dustin Johnson has gone to the dark side. Literally the only person you can rely on for comedy in golf is now gone. But did you know that when they made golf balls originally, they made them quite smooth? So much different to the golf balls that we know today. And they hit them over and over and over again, and then they realize something. The golf balls that had dents from being hit were a little bit rough around the edges, that they would actually travel much further than the smooth ones. So for anyone who's going through any hardships, for anyone who's had a tough time and has had to overcome it, just like the golf ball, that's a design in order to go further in life. And really you getting redesigned in order to travel further and maybe prosper ahead of others. I've put together a list of what I like to call drunk girl in a toilet advice, but I've been told it's not very PC. So I had to call it some friendly reminders everyone needs to hear. You can call it drunk girl in a toilet advice, it's absolutely fine. This wasn't a sociology experiment that I carried out in random nightclubs. This was just a random thing we decided to put together, me and a buddy, of all the random things you hear from a drunk girl in a toilet who tells you you look beautiful, even though you actually don't look beautiful, but they're the nicest person you'll ever meet anyway. So it's good advertisement there. So stop living for others and live for yourself. Life is short, so don't waste time on trying to gain others' validation. Live more in the moment. Take a second to just breathe and forget about yesterday or tomorrow. Stop wishing that your life could be different. The right things and the right people will come at the right time. Be grateful for the little things in life. Take responsibility for your life and stop blaming other people and other things for your own downfalls. Be the kindest person that you can be, not only to others, but more importantly to yourself. Take care of yourself, rest when you need to, drink some water, and put on that face mask. Don't drive yourself into a burnout. Face mask is a skincare face mask. This was written pre-COVID. But do that one too. Don't wait for the perfect time to do that thing. Don't wait for yourself to become confident or the new year or that spark of inspiration. Start now because there is no perfect time. Treat every day as a new beginning. You can start over whenever it is you feel you need to. Do your best. Even if you're not where you want, keep going because hard work will always pay off. People ask me all the time about activism. What's an activist? How do I become an activist? Do I have to burn my bra or anything like that? And I'm like, definitely hold on to the bra if necessary. But an activist is anyone who cares about something, that has a talent, and they're willing to put towards it. So every single one of us needs to prioritize what is it that touches your heart the most. What I always tell people is, I could teach you about the law, and I could teach you about the various issues that are occurring today, but I can't teach you how to have heart. You see, we don't need a movement full of experts. We need people who care deeply to stand up and offer what they have because there's a role for everyone. It's not about everyone trying to become the next Greta Thunberg or Malala or even Martin Luther King Jr. because even he had clergymen and journalists and artists like Harry Belafonte. It's about how we connect to our neighbour and offer our skill set. As Mr. Belafonte has said, don't pay me back, pay back to the cause. There are loads of people here today and probably loads of people within your organisation. And if you look around you, you will see leaders and innovators of all types. These are not just your friends or your workmates or your peers. They are your allies and they are your partners. They are your confidants and they are your collaborators. People working together and taking an active role in the development of their community. Thus, the development of your country can achieve things once considered impossible. I think it was Howard Thurman, a modern civil rights activist and educator, who said, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. What the world needs is for people to come alive. And there's absolutely no reason you cannot do the same if you work together, help one another, and mentor those behind you. Every single one of you is strong, smart, and talented. But together, you will truly be unstoppable and achieve great things. I cannot be happier for all of you and the incredible work that was put into this event today. You cannot lose the hope and ambition that brought you here today. You have before you a wealth of knowledge, information, ideas, and opportunities. Most importantly, you have each other to help you to create the communities you want and deserve, the country you want and deserve. And always remember, you live for an average of 70 years, but if you leave people something to remember you by, you shall live forever. Thanks very much for having me speak at this conference. I'm looking forward to seeing all the other stuff. I'm glad a non-farmer can come and have fun too. And I look forward to seeing everyone either at a football match or on a dairy farm at some stage in my life. So thanks a million for having me, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Joanne, for what was, inspirational, humorous, and very valuable contribution to today's proceedings.